Ukur Yatani is now threatening to take legal action against controller of budget Margaret Nyakang'o over what he terms defamatory remarks against his character. Now, in a lengthy response to Nyakang'o's claims that the former CS forced her to clear expenditure of up to 15 billion shillings, Yatani has defended his actions, saying that expenditure was urgent and essential to safeguard, amongst others, the national security. We begin our report with our very own Sam Gituku.
The control of budget cast doubt in the use of more than 15 billion shillings withdrawn from the public coffers a few days to last year's general election. Part of the transactions in question is 6 billion shillings paid for the acquisition of Telecom Kenya on the 5th of August, just about 9 days after the National Treasury approved its payment. The National Assembly last month declined to regularize the payment. Former CS Ukur Yatani made no mention of this transaction in his lengthy response. Nyakang'o raised an alarm over some 9.4 billion shillings paid for road projects on the 5th of August, part of which had been approved by the National Treasury 2 days before. Details indicate that the projects involved were Lamu-Ijara-Garissa Road, dualling of Nairobi Eastern Bypass and the Makupa Causeway. Yatani has defended the payment, saying the contractors had abandoned the work and needed their bills paid. This was a priority of a national security nature, largely because of the security fragility of the spaces these roads are located. On 4th of August last year, 2.2 billion shillings were paid in favor of a Defense Forces hospital. Yatani wonders why Nyakang'o would raise questions, saying, quote, "This facility was recently opened by President William Ruto. If indeed the said 15 billion shillings was stolen, how did the President commission this hospital?" End of quote. While appearing at a parliamentary committee Tuesday, Nyakang'o poked holes into 4 billion shillings paid for maize subsidy.
Everybody would see that the prices of maize flour had gone up, so we were all hoping that the prices would go down, although we never really saw the cheap flour.
Even though Yatani fails to directly explain the fate of the subsidy, he in general attributes the figures in question to have been meant for fuel and maize subsidies. On 2nd of August, while on tour of Nzoia Sugar Company, then President Uhuru Kenyatta promised stakeholders 500 million shillings would be paid within 3 days to bail them out. On the same day, the National Treasury approved the funds and they were paid on the 5th of August. Yatani now wonders, quote, now that the controller works under a new administration, has she weaponized her office to get back at those seen as a stumbling block to her? Is she doing politics through calculated malice and selective application of the constitutional procedure articulated in the Constitution? Yatani says what makes this approval of 15 billion shillings sneaky and that of the 127.5 billion shillings before Parliament and mostly under the current government legitimate. Yatani adds that this suggests some form of targeted malice and selective application of Nyakang'o's discretion to shield herself from the uncertainty of regime change. Between July 2022 and February this year, the National Treasury approved payments outside budget worth 139.6 billion shillings. The Control of Budget approved 98.9 billion shillings of them, and 69.49 billion shillings was paid during that period. The Constitution allows expenditure by ministries outside budget as long as the National Treasury approves it by responding in writing to the needy ministry and send a copy of the response to the Control of Budget and the Auditor General. The National Treasury, through the Accounting Director General, should then seek approval of the Control of Budget, who then acknowledges receipt and advises the relevant Principal Secretary to seek parliamentary approval at the earliest opportunity. Armed with that, the National Treasury then requests the Control of Budget for approval, attaching all previous documentation. The Controller considers the requisitions based on the law and may approve withdrawal of money by the National Treasury on behalf of the user ministry. Yatani now wonders why Nyakang'o is disowning a process she had followed through, saying she owes Kenyans an explanation as to why she released exchequer to the accounting offices of ministries if, in her view, they were illegal, not forgetting that she gave her approvals in writing both to the National Treasury and in her official communication to the National Assembly. He adds that her appearance before a committee of Parliament to contradict her earlier position shows about the caliber and her suitability for the office she holds. On Tuesday, Nyakang'o revealed a series of WhatsApp messages that Yatani sent her, saying it was coercion to yield. Yatani says the purported coercion through WhatsApp messages was a selective device. She should reveal to the public how many times I pressured her because she could not keep up with the speed of the then administration. Yatani now wants the Auditor General to scrutinize the said expenditure, saying he is confident that he will be vindicated. Sam Gituko, Citizen TV, Nairobi.